Hi, I'm Nitish Cannon, Tech Dimwit, and I'm with
Yves Béhar.
Yves Béhar. All right, and he's going to tell us about Jawbone and so the Fuseproject, and just
Sure. What do you want to know?
So we want to know how's it coming? Like, where's this? Like, what was your inspiration as like a child growing? Like, what got you into the whole concept of design, like in the first place?
Initially, when I was a teenager, I wanted to become a writer, and I got discouraged a little bit by my teachers and picked up this interest in design. And what I discovered later is I could tell stories like a writer, but with design. And today, I think the better stories or the better designs out there are the ones that really take a user, take a customer through an entire experience, from product to user interface to brand, that's what I love to do.
And so, where did the whole concept of the open source like game console really come from, the Ouya, and like what was the inspiration really behind it?
Well, Ouya is really the product of Julie Ehrman, who has been in gaming for a long time. She came to see us. We became partners in launching an open gaming console for the living room experience. And the inspiration is really in the great content that's being created. The indie developers, the independent game makers who aren't really finding an outlet for their games. It's a very predictable industry, and what Ouya wants to do is open it up.
Exactly. So I mean, like right now, there's like a lot of the incumbents, and you see Nintendo, and they go out of business, and not out of business, but their sales are going down. Rovio is growing exponentially, and a lot of people have come out with all these new platforms, iOS, Android, and that. So like, how does Ouya thinking compete with open source? Do you think like there's going to be this huge growth phase where people are going to discover about it and figure out anybody can, like, it's going to democratize gaming the same way like YouTube democratizes video? Is that kind of like the goal behind it? Or
I think the idea is about democratizing gaming. It's about making it more hackable, easier to use. I think it's a very interesting time in that way, because that's what people want to do. They want to participate, with the brands that they work with, play with. They don't just want to be receiving some kind of product and using it as is. They want to be able to contribute, participate, develop, and be creative. So there's a whole there's a whole creative industry in the gaming space that I think will like the Ouya open platform.
Mm-hmm. And so, what about the Jawbone headset stuff? There's probably a lot of competitors and stuff, and there's always you have counterfeit knockoff. What makes design so important in making a product?
Sure. What makes a headset or other wearable products so work or not work for me is whether we've been able to make it personal, whether we've been able to make it something that I want to wear for reasons of comfort, for reasons of style, for reasons of taste. And when you design something for the body, whether it's on your wrist or on your head, you really need to sort of consider those aspects. And technology typically is not very good at that. Technology companies and businesses tend to want to design tech products, but people want to wear things that are much more human, much more along the lines of their personal accessories, personal taste. And that's what we try to mix. Great technology, but that becomes invisible from a technological standpoint, invisible from a personal style and personal lifestyle standpoint.
So is your interest more like purely on design, or are you also like with the technology aspect of it, like in terms of like the components?
Well, it's really an integration of both. I mean, you can't design something without considering the technical side, and vice versa. So you really have to marry, all, the technology, the processing power, the battery life, the indicators on the product. You have to balance all this to create something as small, as comfortable, and as wearable as possible.
So it's very much trying to be like the Apple of kind of like in your niche of the space, kind of like marry the liberal arts and the technology together and kind of make it so you more humanize it. Is that kind of like the inspiration?
Yeah, I mean that's what design does.
Right.
It humanizes products,
right.
And that's what technology needs.
Exactly.
Is a level of ease of use, a level of comfort, a level of experience that is that is exciting.
Right.
I need to go.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.